Dude, I used to watch this guy all the time when I was a kid, and he was funny as fuck. And then I saw his one, I shit you not, I saw his one episode on Bang Bus, and I saw his dick. And I could never watch him ever again. Because once I've seen your penis, it's just like, man, I just don't want to watch this shit. Okay, what did he do, man? What did he do?
This scumbag IRL influencer can now be facing up to multiple decades in prison in the Philippines, all because he live streamed himself harassing strangers in the street, mall security guards, and stealing multiple items, including a mall security bike.
Yeah, maybe we just like stop doing that. Bro, I want to go to Japan so bad, but they're going to consider me a fucking baka gaijin like every other motherfucker who's going there right now and being retarded. Dude, I might go to Japan as one of the most obnoxious streamers considered by the streaming world and do the most respectful 1 month in Japan that anybody has ever seen. Because this shit's embarrassing. Bro, is it really that hard to be a functioning member of society if, oh my God, my viewer count's going down, I gotta go harass somebody, I gotta go disrespect the culture? Is it really that hard? Brother, just stay in your fucking lane, enjoy the environment, and maybe for once in your life, just be a real fucking human being.
Obviously, we're talking about the case surrounding Vitaly, who's an American-Russian YouTuber who was one of the largest prank channels back in the day, who unfortunately lost his mind and ended up serving some time due to horrifically attacking a jogger in Miami. But recently, he came back to the internet. And he's came back to the internet a few times, but in the most recent time, he decided to come back to the internet and essentially be a knockoff Johnny Somali for some reason. And
yeah, that's just like a nickname that you don't want to have. Johnny Somali's the biggest piece of shit in the streaming world.
In his comeback, he was definitely not wise when it comes to picking the country to be a nuisance in, the Philippines. I don't know why you would ever want to come to the Philippines and go live with the title Disturbing the Peace in the Philippines, as that is probably one of the last countries I would ever want to have that title in my stream, let alone go around and harass.
I think it'd be worse in China.
People and then steal multiple items while live streaming yourself doing so. It's like the influencer version of Darwinism. And his actions are definitely catching up to him here now because he was just perp walked out in front of the entire country.
No
Secretary
shot.
Remulla will now make a statement.
Dude, hopefully this gets the message across to streamers, because this is why I don't want to do IRL anymore. You know what IRL streams that I have? I'm going to do IRL in a private gym and IRL in my backyard doing gardening. Because, like, I just feel so bad for the world how big of a fucking nuisance that streamers are being. Like, okay, so admittedly, the worst thing that I've ever done, and I'm just going to be real, like, I could hide this. This never made it to light. The worst thing that I ever did was I was in an anime con doing an anime con stream where I was attempting to be very respectful, and I think I was, and I had TTS on, and someone in my chat donated the TTS that I have a fucking bomb on me. Thankfully, I covered the microphone before it got out, but that was fucking ridiculous. That scared the fucking shit out of me. Thankfully, nobody else heard, and I silenced that shit immediately. But man, that's pretty much the worst thing that I've ever done. But I try not to do anything awful. Pretty much anything that I've ever done that could be seen as bad in IRL is having TTS on. That's pretty much it. Yeah, TTS IRL is definitely a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, the smirk he had during his arrest and mugshot, that's completely gone. Dude, he was warned multiple times. He didn't care. He just openly embraced going to jail in the Philippines on his stream. And now he's in even more trouble than what I think he's ever been in his life. And that really sets the bar when you look at his situation that happened in Miami. Because if you have a horrific attack on your record and somehow you're in more trouble than what you were then, oh boy. So what are they charging him for?
Vitaly engaged in multiple disruptive and inappropriate acts, including attempting to kiss and grab him, trying to seize his service firearm, taking videos of him without consent, mocking other security guards, and vlogging without a permit in BGC. Also, in Vitaly's latest video in BGC, nakita siyang sumasakay ng patrol motorcycle na walang abiso.
That means he stole a motorcycle.
There's just a whole plethora of charges here that can be disastrous for him. They're also talking not just fully English, they're speaking tag-along with English, which I think they call Taglish. So I had to transcribe a lot of this to actually understand what is going on and then run it through ChatGPT and then have ChatGPT essentially tell me what they were saying. So It's not fully spot on yet, but
It's
that's
legit-
what
it's just
happens when we're
fucking
trying to
embarrassing.
break this news. So here we have, I guess, the charges against Vitaly, which aren't 100% set in stone from what I can tell, because he just kind of threw out a lot of the things that happened that they're investigating him for. So first you have unjust vexation, which is engaging in behavior that caused annoyance and distress to others. Then you have alarm and scandal, which is actions that disturb public peace and order. Then you had attempted theft, which was trying to unlawfully take a security guard's firearm. That's a serious charge.
It's insane.
That is, like, did this happen?
Yeah, dude, look at this. I'm going to take this cop's gun. Dude, the clips will be insane. Bro, it'll be such good content. Jesus Christ.
After my coverage? Did this happen after he was arrested? I don't remember that being on the stream that I skimmed through. That is a serious charge. Then you have the 2 counts of theft if they go after him for taking the motorcycle and the industrial fan. And then also that face mask, but they return the face mask pretty quickly. So we'll see what they do
Why
there.
can't
Then you
we
have
just be
the threatening
normal?
to rob an old lady as well. But what I didn't know until now is apparently if you steal a motorcycle in the Philippines, you can actually get up to life in prison. And this is all due to a newer and stricter law they put in place around 2016. Now, will he get life in prison? There's no way. But
Nah.
the fact that you would even go to a country and do something that can give you a maximum of life in prison is insane. I am seeing
Yeah.
multiple locals say that he could be facing up to 24 years in prison,
That's
as it's up to
crazy.
12 years for each of the counts of theft there. And that's just the theft cases alone. And then you have all these other charges up here as well. So will he get this amount of time? Probably not. But I don't think he's going to just leave the country next week, to put it lightly.
Yep.
It seems like they very much so want to charge him. So then also they go on.
You would really think that streamers would go to other countries to enjoy the other culture and enrich themselves in the culture and to help the people of that culture by putting a spotlight on how great these places are rather than just going there and being a piece of shit. But maybe that's my difference in mentality.
On to say that charges also stem from incidents where Vitaly is seen grabbing a security guard's hat, attempting to seize another guard's firearm, and threatening to rob a woman in Bonifacio Global C. Now, Secretary Ramola, who is the guy that essentially had him perp walked out there in front of the whole country, now he said that Vitaly will not be deported immediately, but will remain in the Bureau of Immigration Detention Facility to face the charges filed against him. He also emphasized that
Like to give credit to Mizkif here, Mizkif was an absolute fucking idiot. You know, he was disrespecting the culture, going on soccer blossom trees, which only bloom for 2 weeks of the fucking year. They're very sacred in Japanese culture. He goes, he does some pull-ups on them. He didn't know he was a fucking idiot. He at least put out a great apology. You know, like he showed some remorse, thank God. But these other streamers, they think it's like funny when law enforcement gets involved. And it's like, what the fuck?
no special treatment will be given, stating that we're done with foreigners who only insult Filipinos. This is an example that
Good.
we are serious here in our country, and we won't let them belittle us. And they also stated that authorities are seeking Vitaly's
Good.
cameraman, who may also face charges for enabling a commission of crime.
Good.
This is a stark contrast from what we've seen Japan do with Johnny Somalia, and now maybe even South Korea with Johnny Somalia, as they seem to be playing way more softball with him there. In the
Oh,
Philippines,
fuck 'em.
they're not messing around. They had him perp walk
Make an
down in front of the whole
example.
country within a week of an arrest. Within the week of him doing it, they arrested him right away. They arrested him 2 days after my video on him. They arrested him on the 3rd of April. Now on the 7th of April, they're having him perp walked out in front of the entire country saying, hey, we're going to make an example out of this guy. This is not okay. This is crazy. Why, as an influencer, would you ever go mess around and do this kind of content, especially not in your home country? Fair enough. If you actually understand the laws of the place that you're in.
Oh, let me tell you why. Because they're fucking idiots. And I mean that genuinely. If you're a streamer and you're doing this shit, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. I'm good, man.